Yep. Thanks a lot, everybody, for joining us again, and happy to answer some questions about both the previous game and the upcoming game. So our game in last week in Toronto was great to get the win on the road. Another challenging environment, the same day travel to Toronto. But I'm really proud of the student athletes. They did a great job getting ready to play, and ultimately, for the most part, played well. Obviously, there's still a lot of corrections and room for improvement, especially, offensively and on special teams, and in certain areas of defense as well. But overall, just good to get the win. And I thought we did a good job controlling the physicality of the game, controlling the play clock and the game clock, as well as we ate up a lot of possession time and made some pretty good decisions for the most part. Unfortunately, University of Toronto player was pretty seriously hurt late in the game. That was causing a major delay. And because of what has happened over the last few weeks there with, the young man from Ottawa happening, that situation occurring at the University of Toronto, I think the university was a little hesitant to continue to play with this kind of status of the student athletes still being undetermined. He was, he was pretty hurt there. So the game ended up getting called by the University of Toronto with about 10 minutes left, which ultimately was the right thing to do. And, but again, good to get the win. From our understanding, the win brings the total record against Toronto to 89 wins for Queens and 88 wins for Toronto. So we're now, have the upper hand in that traditional matchup there for the first time in a very long time, maybe ever, from my understanding. So I got to look into that a little bit. But first time we've had the upper hand there in decades. So again, it's an opponent we really respect, a rivalry we really expect, and I'm glad our student athletes got to play in it and come out with the win.
Thanks, Steve. We'll get into questions now, and I'll start with Ian McAlpine. Ian, you're up now. Thanks.
Thanks, Ben. So, Steve, what are you looking for in Friday's game? Playing at night, is that any different than playing during the day for your athletes?
Just other, the kickoff time, just a little bit more time during the day to get ready for the game or wait for the game to happen. That's really the adjustment there. With us being at home, we don't have to travel that day. So it's just reporting to the stadium a little bit later. In terms of playing that time of night, it's not a big deal to us. We practice that time. So, we're essentially a 6 to 8:30 practice team, roughly give or take a few minutes there, either side. In terms of that, the body clock and stuff like that, it's fine for us. It's what our guys are wired for. I think it's going to be a very, very difficult game, very challenging game. Guelph is one of the more talented physical rosters in the OUA, have been for quite some time. There's nothing any different now. It's a roster loaded with talent. So, they're physical. They're going to bring a huge challenge. And it's two, football teams that I think are respected in the conference right now with a lot on the line. So it should be an absolute battle.
One quick one, not really to do with the game, but I guess sort of to do with the game. Queens football and Kingston Frontenacs are basically playing head-to-head at home on Friday. And, being without sports all these months or year and a half, and then you have two really good games going on at the same time for Kingston sports fans. Who do you recommend? Where do you recommend the Kingston sports fans go to on Friday night?
To the football game. Football is a pretty short window, and to be able to get outdoors and enjoy one of 3 regular season home games, there's such a premium on football games. There's such a great event, and there's so few and far between that, there's no doubt about the fact that, I think our community, the student body, alumni, everybody should support, our football team at Richardson Stadium. There will be plenty of time in the winter to go downtown and catch a great hockey game. But right now it's fall, it's Thanksgiving, which is a football holiday through and through across North America. So I would say get out to Richardson and enjoy what's going to be a very physical, good football game.
Great. Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, Ian. Next up is Jack Burnham.
Hi, thank you so much. So my one question is about last week. I had a question about the fake punt that U of T pulled, and I was curious, in the moment, was that something you had anticipated, or that catch you kind of completely by surprise? And are trick plays and things something that maybe you're focusing on kind of going on throughout the season?
Yeah, it was, tough to tell whether it was a trick play or more of just kind of a read and an adjustment by the punter. The problem with it on our part was our alignment was off on our punt return kind of defensive team. We weren't aligned properly, and we weren't able to secure that field edge. And as a result, we did get some pressure off the boundary edge, which got into the punter's face quickly, which may have caused him to kind of scramble and run to the field side, to the wide side, where we didn't have the edge set. So he was able to get free and break contain there and eat up some significant yardage. Now, one of our, young men there, Josh McBain, who was out of position to start, ended up just hustling and running really aggressive to the football and making an aggressive tackle that forced the ball loose, and we were able to jump back on it and secure the possession, which is ultimately what you're trying to do when your punt return comes on the field, is secure the possession. So you want to ensure that the ball is not advanced by the punting team for a first down, ensure that the ball's kicked, and now, take possession of the football and retain it and allow your offense to come on the field. So ultimately that's what happened. It just happened in a really unorthodox, kind of ugly way.
Thanks. And I had a question about the game too. So against Ottawa, Keenan was pulled near with the last TV timeout left. And I was curious why you kept him in the game to start the fourth quarter against Toronto, considering the lead that you had. So what the difference between those two situations was?
Just time on the clock. I mean, a quarter of football is a lot of time, and the fourth quarter is the most important one. So, we never felt like, even right up till the end there, the Toronto game was, a football game that we felt we needed to still play well and still increase our lead. And so we never really got an opportunity in our mind to make kind of that quarterback adjustment where you feel like, okay, the game's completely under control now. Let's make our substitutions. It did feel that way really, really, really late in the Ottawa game with the last few minutes. We felt like, okay, we're in enough control here, and we obviously trust Ryan enough to come into the game. But the Toronto game, 10 minutes left, it never really felt like that. It still felt like a very competitive game.
Thank you so much, and good luck on Friday.
Thanks, Jack. Next up is Jesse Bell.
Hey, Coach, congrats on the win last weekend. I just wanted to take some time to highlight the Gaels Tackle Hunger food drive. I'm not sure if you've heard, but they collected over 1,126 pounds of food for the community, which is obviously fantastic to see. How important is it for this team to have a good connection with the Kingston community?
Yeah, no, I'm so glad you brought that up, Jesse, and I'm well aware because it's a major priority for us. So it's in terms of, how important is it for our team to have a Kingston connection with the Kingston community. It's actually, the most important thing for us. It's absolutely at the top priority, even more so than winning football games. Our top priority is to be, respected in our on campus and in our community. So this is just our, little part that we can do around Thanksgiving, which again, to me is a football time of the year. So it's a great opportunity for our guys annually to get out and make an impact when people are thinking about football and should be enjoying football. We can kind of do our part to make this weekend a little bit more special for everyone in the community. So really proud of the guys. They turned out really well, and they had a ton of fun with it. I don't know if you guys saw, but they were just cheering on everybody that came out of that store and put something into the bin. So it was a lot of great energy that our guys bring, which is what you're going to get. When you got a football team like ours, full of a bunch of really fine young men, when they walk in somewhere, they're going to bring some really positive energy, and you're going to feel their presence when they walk into an environment because, a lot of, great young men with a lot of positive energy and kind of like-minded, goal-oriented guys. So they came to get something done. They wanted to raise a ton of product there to give back to the food bank, and they were able to do it. So we're really proud of them and already looking forward to doing that again next year. Again, we want it to be, and it is something annual for our program. Our community can count on us at Thanksgiving.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. As a Kingston resident, thank you for reaffirming that connection with the community. One final question for you. What does the team need to do tomorrow night to leave Richardson victorious?
Yeah, we're going to have to play our best football. We're going to have to play very consistent through 4 quarters. We can't afford to, be off for a chunk of the game. We got to be playing our highest level of football that we've played to date. We need to play it all game long for 4 quarters. So that comes down to just playing football one play at a time, playing really smart, keeping your emotions steady, and being very aggressive, and very physical, and trusting the systems and trusting the game plan. So, what we've asked our guys to do is stay aggressive. We want our guys to keep hunting, and stay on the prowl here. And, because the way we see it, we're still an underdog. We got a lot to prove. And the only way we're going to, play at the highest level and come out victorious is if we're really aggressive and just stay on the hunt.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Coach. Best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jesse. Next up is Wade Zanchetta.
Good afternoon, Coach. When you look at the shorter week, Thanksgiving always brings around some teams with a short week in the OUA. How do you get your team used to that one-off, really, because you don't see it happen much in your schedule?
Yeah, October is a little wacky for us. We got 2 short weeks coming up, on the schedule, and this is the first of them. So, in terms of getting your team used to it, it's tough to get them used to it when it's the first time, especially for so many young guys on our team that have never really experienced a true work week up until this year. So, we're adjusting. We put together a plan and also kind of rolling with the punches a little bit, always flexible to change and adjustments. So I think our guys have handled it really well. We've had a very good week. So, we'll finish off tonight with another, dialed down practice, kind of that day before style practice, and then get ready to play tomorrow. But our guys have done a really good job adjusting. And, I'm glad you brought up the short week, because it's, for some people, when they think about their work week being a short week, that's a good thing. In football, it's it presents a challenge. For us, it just eats into your prep and takes a true padded practice off the table, in terms of that kind of full padded practice, competitive practice. So, but again, I think our team has handled it, and Guelph has the same week, so there's no advantage there. So, we're just looking forward to playing now.
And when you look at Guelph as an opponent, obviously week 2, they start their year off and they kind of halted or slowed, I guess, the Western rushing attack. For you guys who have Rashid and the offensive line moving at such a high level this year, how do you guys continue your success against the defense like that?
Yeah, we're going to have to be really physical with them, because they're very physical. It's an impressive, very well-coached defense with some big, strong, athletic football players that play the game, aggressively. So it's going to be a true battle. That's for sure. I think you're going to see a physical battle up front and a well-played game technically, by them and their front seven. So it'll be a grind, but we're looking forward to the challenge. I mean, this is kind of what it's about in the OUA is quality opponents week after week and new opponents. And, so this is a new opponent for us that we've, playing for the first time since 2019. And again, they're physical. They're going to be a huge challenge for us, but I think our guys are looking forward to it. They want to get out there on, in this case, Friday night and just go and try to play the best football of their lives.
And on the passing attack, I mean, Richard Burton is tied for the U Sports lead in touchdowns. Can you kind of talk to what he's brought to your team? I know he's a veteran on the receiving core, but just what he's brought outside of that.
Well, first and foremost, he brings a competitive spirit. He's a competitor. He works, hard. He's got a great work ethic. You don't have to, kick him in the butt. You more oftentimes have to pull him back a little bit from doing too much. So competitive guy that works really hard, and he's really embraced, the technical side of football and kind of the football IQ, the systematic part of learning, adjustments and assignments and understanding concepts and schemes. So here's a football IQ, student of the game guy that can think his way through it and can make adjustments. He's technical. He runs very, very good routes, and he's always looking to improve his route running. He works hard and he wants to win. He's competitive. He wants to be the best. So it's a great combination. He's done a tremendous job so far.
And as you guys continue to climb up the U Sports top 10 rankings, how do you kind of direct your team's attention, not so much away from it, but kind of back to the game ahead instead of looking at the top 10 and being kind of getting caught up in the headlines?
Yeah, we actually haven't even looked at it as a team. It's not, it only means, so in our league, the top 10 really means something for, the media. It helps in recruiting. It helps with, your fan base, your supporters, kind of just seeing where you may stack up. But we're a playoff system, so ultimately the rankings mean nothing, because as soon as you get into playoffs, it doesn't matter. You go by seed, and you got to play your way through it. So it's a little different than it is in the United States, NCAA systems where rankings kind of get you into the championship game or get you into the playoffs. Those rankings, they don't mean anything in the grand scheme of things. So it's not something we focused on at all. We won't, so we're just, focused on every day, just coming and getting better individually at something and collectively taking a big step forward each day as a football program.
Perfect. Sorry, I just have one last one. I know I'm taking a bit
Yeah, go ahead,
long. On the defensive side, Guelph started the year with Sean Law. He's been out last week with an upper body injury. Looking at the depth charts today, he's ranked 3rd, so it doesn't look like he'll travel. How have you guys gone about scouting for DeAndre Rose off the one game they had against Windsor?
Yeah, obviously just getting to the film, trying to get a feel for, what they like to do from a play call perspective and how they want to utilize the skill set of the quarterback that's in the game and what they may feel comfortable, calling with him. And ultimately, what are his strengths? What can he hurt you with? And then, what are his weaknesses? Where is he a little bit vulnerable and not a strength? And where do you kind of want to get him into? You want to get him into that situation more often than not. So we're prepared for, any one of their quarterbacks now. They've shown 3 and, from top to bottom, we'll be prepared to the best of our abilities with the short week. And again, looking forward to the challenge. And each quarterback, has strengths and poses a threat. That's for sure. So when we do, get to game time and get to dial in on exactly who's going to be taking the snaps, we'll be ready.